Hello and welcome back to the Baby Mothers podcast. I'm your host, Nafisa Caseman. Missing my beautiful co-host today, but the show must go on. So today we're going to be talking about the motherhood journey, and I have a very interesting and special guest. Are you ready to meet her?
Hi guys, it's your girl
Hello.
Talks from Jade. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow.
What are you doing? Okay, so tell us a little bit about you. Who is Jade?
So Jade is a mother of one.
Mm-hmm.
My full-time job is a business analyst in the public sector. Mm-hmm. And in my pastime, I'm known to do Instagram lives.
Right. You're a mom, you've got a 5-month-old beautiful baby girl. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you meet her father?
We met at a party.
Mm-hmm.
That's going back 2016.
Okay.
Big up all the Coronet ravers.
I have
'cause
no idea what that
was
means.
a big place in Elephant and Castle.
Okay.
We were friends. We started off as friends.
Okay.
I know that one of my friends knew one of his friends, and then we just introduced, oh, this is my friend, this is my friend, and we exchanged socials.
Okay.
So we've always been friends.
Right.
I know that he had a partner.
At the time that you met him?
I don't think at the time that I met him.
Okay.
I think she came a little bit later on.
Right. Okay.
But he's the type of person you would describe as a Labrador, very loyal to whoever he's with,
That's good.
and very loyal to his businesses and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of one of the things that I liked about him. But again, you're my friend.
Right.
And I always believe that you should be friends with someone first.
Yeah. So there was no kind of, was there any kind of thoughts about him other than friendship
like that,
in the
but
beginning?
Other people outside looking at him and like, oh,
Hello.
you guys look good together. I'm like, don't do that.
And so you met him 2016.
On to lockdown, one of our mutual friends said that him and the partner broke up. And I was like, you're lying, because, they seemed, to the outside person looking in, they seem very solid. I'm like, I'm waiting for my wedding invitation so I can wear my big fascinator hat, all of that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean?
But how did you really feel though?
I was like, no, I've got to find out. I'm nosy like that.
Okay.
if all my friends know I'm nosy, I'm going to ask.
Did any part of you be like, yes? Okay, go.
And but when I messaged him, it wasn't coming on a point of view of, I'm going to move in and shoot my shot.
No, I totally understand.
I think I'm your friend, so I'm going to check in. And he was just like, oh, I thought you knew. And I was like, no, I didn't. Are you okay? Because I thought you was genuinely getting married to this person, so I can get my wedding invitation.
Were they actually engaged?
No.
Oh, okay.
But pretty serious.
Right, okay.
They were living together.
Okay.
So pretty serious, you get what I mean? So I know it affected him. Mm-hmm. He even like during lockdown, when he was able to go out and exercise, we'd go for long walks, and he didn't really want to talk about it.
Right,
so
okay.
I was just like, okay, we're just looking for company, and that's cool. We can go on walks, we can talk and stuff like that, and it just developed naturally from there. We were never boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
I couldn't really say that we were just friends with benefits. It was a blurred line.
So you're saying you was never boyfriend and girlfriend even when you got pregnant? So you mean it just never got to that stage? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that we were working towards something. Mm-hmm. And I think just before we found out I was pregnant, it became clear that we're on two separate paths. So I'm like, okay, so what do I do at this point? And then we met up one day, and he looked at me, he goes, you're pregnant. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm about to have my hot girl summer. I'm going to Jamaica.
Trust
like,
me,
what
I
are you
know that
talking
feeling.
about? Like,
wait, how did he know?
he just looked at me. I was like, I couldn't tell you. I'm like,
and this is before you even knew.
yeah.
So he was like,
Then
you're
he was
pregnant.
like, you need to take a test. And I'm like, I ain't taking no test because I'm not pregnant. Why do you think you know me better than I know me? Do you not understand?
Obviously he did.
I felt that was a bit weird. I felt that was a bit too intrusive. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
So I was just like, I'm going to prove you wrong anyway. I'm going to take the test and it's going to come back negative, and I'm going to go in your face. No, it was in my face.
You literally sound like me. I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. What are you talking about? Nah.
No, my face dropped like, but I'm going to Jamaica. It doesn't fit with my plan.
What were the emotions at that moment?
I felt like I was swallowed up in a big black hole. My legs were jelly. I had no words. And I think for me, I would say it's a good thing because at the age of 19, I suffered a trauma. And at age 21, they said I might not be able to have kids. And I kind of always, for the last couple of years, thought motherhood may not be on the table for me.
Right.
Always said to my closest friends that I'm adopting by the time I'm 30. So I've got like my 20s to just live it up. Not today. I said, I think I'm pregnant. She was like, huh? What? So I don't know what to do. And she's like, okay, cool. Why not?
Really?
Oh, because I feel like I'm not ready. No one's ready. Anyway, I think you're having the baby and just get the form at the reception so you can refer to the maternity services and I see you when I see you. That's how she kind of shoved me out the room. I contacted the termination clinic. They offer free counselling service.
Okay.
So if you're under 20 weeks,
right,
you can talk to a counsellor as many times as you want to go through the different options. But I think it's more so to talk about whether a termination's right for you. Right. But they can't say whether it's right for you. Do you get what I mean? It's just you offloading to someone that doesn't know you and, not getting anyone secretly judging you. It's just like...
Did you feel like I actually want to terminate this baby?
It was a thought.
Okay.
Even if I didn't have the counselling, I don't think I would have acted on it anyway.
Okay. But you needed to go through that process.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to someone that didn't know me.
Yeah.
Just to go through the pros, just to go through the cons. And I had 2 sessions with the same lady. I don't remember her name. And at the end of it, she goes, I shouldn't say this, but you're just scared. And you've got a supportive village around you. Most people don't have what you have.
Trust me. In everything you're going through, what was his process?
So I said to him, when I told him I was pregnant, I said, I need time. A couple of weeks went by. I didn't tell him until I was about 10, 11 weeks that I'm keeping the baby.
Right. So he found out you were pregnant, but he didn't know what you were going to do.
Yeah, but we still had the line of communication open. We spoke about our pros. We spoke about our cons. I gave him reassurance. He didn't really necessarily give me reassurance because in his mind, it just doesn't fit to what he envisioned his life to be. And I hear it because I'm in the same boat as you. But like a baby is here. It's not like you could just flush it down the toilet. Do you get what I mean? It's not something to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
Week 9, I had severe food poisoning. I almost lost her. Okay. And we had an argument. And it was just him offloading his emotions. But you've just picked the worst possible time to do so. And I just said to him, it's good. I'm good. I got it. It's covered. She's good. Like, we're good. Like, you take as much time as you need, but we are good.
What was it that triggered that response? What was it he said?
I'm laying in my sick bed and you're telling me that you don't want your child to grow up in a broken home. I'm sorry.
Right. So he's basically saying he wants to make it work between you two?
No, he wants a termination.
Oh.
That was where he was going, I want a termination. Like, it's not ideal. It's not, we're not together. We're not going to be together. It's not that. I want a termination. Okay. I don't. So we met up when I was around 11 weeks and I have to take ownership that I was scared. So I waited until the last 5 minutes to when we was going to go our separate ways. And I was like, I'm keeping a baby. And he was like, what? I said, I'm keeping a baby and I'm going now. Bye.
Was he ringing off your phone, like trying to figure this out?
He didn't respond to me for like a day.
Okay.
Next day he was like, are you sure this is what you want to do? I'm like, no, but I'm going through with it anyway. And then that's when he started offloading. I don't want my child to grow up in a broken home. We're not together. We're not going to be together. And I was just like, okay. You thought you can throw out these insults and you think you're going to sway my mind. You're mad.
Because it sounds like you were already solid in your decision and at the same time, you have a support system.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that said, you know what, no matter what happens with you, I'm going to be okay.
And I think as mothers or as women, you know, when we find out we're pregnant and we're going through those initial shocks, as a few women have said to me, you're having that baby.
Yeah.
The baby's your responsibility. You birthed that baby. That baby has a direct connection to you.
Yeah.
You are mostly doing the night feeds. You are there taking care of them when they're sick, etc. It's you. So ultimately, the decision does lie with you. You can take into consideration what the father says, but ultimately, women do the majority.
Because you're carrying that baby, you know, and to make a decision based on somebody else's feelings, that would never sit well with you.
I'm not knocking the guys that are the main caregivers.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. That is massive. So he doesn't want the baby. You want the baby. Where do we go from here? Like, how did you guys move forward? Because the baby's here.
We didn't.
Okay, so it just got worse and worse, the relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a complete breakdown, if I'm
Right.
honest with you. Fast forward to the first scan. He has his version of events. I have mine, but I'm telling my truth. You didn't turn up. If you come somewhere and you don't see the person that you are meeting, you call
them.
or you text. You did not do that. Therefore, you didn't turn up.
Right. So he's saying he was there, but couldn't find you.
I got lost. I got lost in the hospital. I was waiting outside. Nothing. I purposely even got there late. I texted him after the scan to say that baby's fine, and he was like, "Oh, see, I'm not on with playing the mind games with you. I travelled an hour and 30 minutes to get to the hospital, and I was outside. You wasn't there. Okay, I don't know who you're talking to, but you could have texted me or you could have called me. It's not
What
for
did
me
he
to
say
run
to
you
that?
down. It's just,
So it was just kind of like, just
it didn't go.
do you think he actually turned up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe he did.
Yeah.
Pride stopped him from calling and texting my phone. He thinks that I told him the wrong date or the wrong time to get back at him.
Okay. So now we're in this kind of energy of tit for tat drama. When you're pregnant, trying to have this baby, do this journey because it ain't easy.
At that point, he's blocked me on all social media platforms. I said, okay, cool. You've set the tone.
Right.
I'm living my best pregnancy life without you. I made that decision at that point. I'm going to enjoy every minute of my pregnancy, even the crappy parts.
Hats off to you, girl.
Yeah, I think for me, I can't be at home crying over no man. Like, I'm not saying I haven't. Like,
We all been there, girl. We all been there.
No, like, there's more to life than crying over a man and just crying into the chocolate that you're eating to soothe the pain. But,
Okay. So we know how he's feeling during this pregnancy. We know how you're feeling. You're living your best life. Did you ever meet the family on his side, like his mom? I don't know. Do they have siblings?
To his family, I'm a stranger.
Right. Okay.
She reached out to me. She sent me a long message, and in short of it, she just said, you know, no matter what happens between you and my son, I want to be a grandmother or nanny to the baby, and I want to support in any way that I can.
That would make me feel like happy because, you know, okay. I'm going to finish. That would make me feel happy if I received that message. You're like, no.
It's not a no. I think I'm very wary of people.
Okay.
And I felt like it was a bit... It's a catch-22 because I respect you for reaching out to me. I think it's commendable for a mother to just say, you know what? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
She's a stranger.
Yeah.
And I'm finding out that a stranger's having my first grandchild.
Oh, so you didn't know her when you two were friends? Okay, got you.
What the hell's going on? And in my mind, I'm like, do I even have the time to start forming a relationship with someone when I'm carrying a life? I work full time, and I'm trying to get things ready for the baby to come.
Okay.
It was a lot.
And what was the decision?
I went through with it. We met up.
Okay.
We sat down and spoke for 6 hours.
Wow.
A good conversation. She filled in some gaps for me. Some bits that I wasn't aware of that I feel like I should have been aware of.
Like how he grew up, what was going on for
I knew
him.
a little bit, but as people, we can omit parts that we choose.
Yeah.
But the parts that were omitted in this case were very important.
Would that have changed?
Yeah.
You would have stepped away a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not to talk down on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think when there's a lot going on for somebody that you're not aware of, there's no way you're going to fit in that. And what I wanted, I was never going to get. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Had you communicated that at the time, we might not have had our baby, and I would have been on a completely different path. But I don't regret having my baby.
Right.
I'm very happy with the choice.
But just in hindsight, knowing what you know now, you would have stepped back a lot earlier. And just to go back, you did mention certain red flags in the beginning. Do you mind sharing some of them? Like, what were some of the red flags that you ignored and kept moving forward?
You know when people post things on social media, especially that are directed at women?
Okay.
I ignored them.
So he was like talking down to women?
Certain groups of women, saying that women should carry themselves to the highest standard.
Okay.
I can't really describe it because it's just like, wow, like your view on women is borderline delusional. You have this high standard for women. Do you have a high standard? He does have a high standard, I will admit that.
Okay.
But I just think that it was unrealistic expectation.
Okay. So he had unrealistic. Can you name one of them? Was one of the unrealistic expectations?
For example, women shouldn't wear provocative clothing.
Oh. Okay. You're just like, I'm all out here. Mama or not.
And he made a few comments about clothes I wear. And I'm like, so I said to him, do you pay my bills? Do you buy my clothes? Oh, you don't.
So that kind of just started to divide you as well.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you made a point, but I'm going to do me. What you see is what you get. And if you don't like it, you know where the door is.
So he stayed.
Yeah.
You kept seeing. Okay, so that was one of the things where you just know this guy doesn't.
Yeah, but you know what? A couple of my friends even said to me, like, you see some of the posts that he posts on social media? Like, does that sit right with you? I'm like, no. Like, are you sure this is like the right fit? Because this isn't like someone that reflects you and you don't reflect him.
Right.
It's a bit of a mishmash, if that makes sense.
Totally.
I was like, you know, opposites attract. Clearly. Like, you can't knock it. But yeah, in hindsight, I think we can't ignore red flags. I think we like to think we see the good in people,
right.
We see the potential in people, but potential don't pay bills.
But it's also, I hear you, but it's also not just with them, it's with us, isn't it? It's like the fear of being alone, or, you know, it's like, if I don't see this through, can I get better? Like, it's that mindset that I've met a lot of women in that place.
Had before I had my baby. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And now I've evolved. I don't care if I'm alone. You know, for me, my end goal would be to be married to someone and be ultimately that we're both happy to live in our little world. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be married and unhappy.
So you're not going to compromise your values?
No.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's my responsibility to uphold my values, and it's also my responsibility to clearly communicate what my values are. I feel like people forget that it's also their responsibility to communicate them.
Fully.
Like
they should know how to treat me. I'm like...
Yeah, they should know how to treat you.
No, that's what people say. They should know. But the truth is, people are coming from so many different walks of life.
But you can't expect you in somebody else. Like, it just doesn't work that way, especially when there are people that have gone through childhood trauma,
definitely,
adulthood trauma.
Yeah.
It changes people.
Definitely.
So you can't expect it. Hence why you need to communicate.
You met the mom now. You've had a 6-hour conversation. After that conversation, did you decide to keep in contact with that side of the family? Where do we go from there?
I didn't meet any other family members.
Oh, so it stopped there.
We did keep in contact. We met up again.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my sister along. My sister's a good judge of character. And we had a 3-way dinner, and that was good. It went really well.
Nice.
We thought, yeah. And then me and his mum ended up having an argument. Oh. And that's where it kind of put a dent in our relationship at the time.
What brought that on?
Without going into too much detail, one of my friends and his mum had a disagreement about my baby shower.
Okay.
It was brought to my attention.
Right.
When I went back to speak to my friend at the time, she said that that's not what has happened. It's not true. And she went back to speak to his mum, and the message wasn't polite.
Okay.
Put it this way. I wouldn't want to be receiving that message.
Okay.
It was flamey.
From your friend?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you're taking responsibility, like you're showing your friend wasn't in
I get
the best
emotions
place to
were
do
high,
that. Yeah.
especially like my child's dad wasn't around during my pregnancy. My friend at the time was like, who are you to lie on my name or allegedly lie on my name and think you could get away with it? So she sent her the very direct message.
So she was coming from a friendship place, but you're saying it wasn't really her place to do. Send that
in
message.
hindsight, it wasn't her place.
Okay.
At the time, was I going to throw my friend under the bus? No.
Okay.
No. Like, how I saw it and how I said to his mum is like, she's been here. Like, that's been my friend for almost 20 years. Like, what do you want me to do?
I guess she was looking out for you.
Yeah. In hindsight now, would I have wanted her to send that message? No.
Okay.
It's not a message I personally would have sent. But I understand why it was sent, if that makes sense.
Okay. So that created a lot of friction between your daughter's father's mum.
He messaged me and was like, tell your friend.
Oh, Lord.
Like, if anyone's rude to my mum. And I'm like, you have her number. You go and tell her. Why are you messaging me? It has nothing to do with me. His mum's come to me to talk about how she feels about the message. Her emotions are high. And I'm just like, oh.
Meanwhile, you're pregnant, trying to... How many months are you?
I'm at work. My phone's going bing, 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 bing. And I'm like...
You're at work, you're pregnant. How many months were you at this point?
About 7. 6.
So
6, 7, yeah.
Okay, but kind of over the halfway mark, dealing with that stress.
I'm tired.
I can imagine.
I don't care. I think in the end, I was like, is anyone thinking of the baby here? Because, like, I don't really care.
Right, yeah. Drama.
I felt bad. I spoke to my sister. My sister was like, it wasn't her place, my friend at the time's place to do that. She goes, you're going to need to be the bigger person. Call his mum and apologise. Regardless of how you feel, what is right, and what is wrong. And that was wrong.
Fair play.
So I called her 2 weeks later. I apologised. I just said, well... as much as I may have my opinions on it, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
True.
It was wrong.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm still a stranger. She's carrying your first grandchild. Yeah. And you kind of just think I'm some ratchet girl at this point. Do you get what I mean? And
because of the argument, or is that... Okay.
You don't really know me as a person. You're trying to get to know me. That argument's just thrown a big spanner in the works. You've only seen me, once or twice at that point.
And was these her words that you're ratchet, or you just kind of saying that?
I'm saying that.
You got that
but
idea?
I would, as the outside person looking in, I'd have been like, well, who are these ratchet people?
From the message and everything. Okay, and the argument. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow. And we'll get to how the relationship is now, but I just want to go to the baby shower because you spoke about that. You said it was lavish. So I want to know, like, how did that all come? No, I don't even say how did that all come. How did it happen? How did it unravel?
So my friends were like, we're having a baby shower. It's our first niece. And I was like, I don't want a baby shower. They're like, you're having a baby shower. So I was like, if we're having a baby shower, these are the people that need to be invited. The list had to be changed a few times, but I had somewhat control of that list.
Okay.
in regards to the theme, or didn't really know the theme. I just got told I had to wear a chocolate dress or nude dress or jumpsuit or whatever I wanted. I didn't really have to do much.
Must be nice.
It was nice. And then closer to the time, my friend at the time said, I can't do this anymore. Take back your baby shower. And these are all the list of things that are outstanding.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. All right, cool. I got it. Looking at the list, calling friends. I'm like, can you do this? Can you do that? Like,
So she got stressed. Are you friends still? Okay. She got stressed and was just like, I'm just going to give it back to my pregnant 7-month friend. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And is that why you're no longer friends with her?
One of.
Okay.
Second reason is that I later found out, I know she told me, but I heard from someone else first that you messaged my daughter's dad and said, regardless of what happens between you and Jade, I'm going to be in her life and you need to be okay with that or something like that. And I'm like, who are you?
That sounds like like a stepdaddy coming in.
I ain't gonna lie, I was mad. I was like, what?
Wow.
I would never send that message. I know she told me, and at the time I kind of brushed it off because I'm thinking I've got so much other things I need to focus on. But in hindsight, I sat down and reflected on it. Is that something I would do?
But what made her do that? Did you ever speak about it?
It was in regards to the baby shower because she was saying that they need to be there. And I'm like,
right, okay.
He doesn't need to be there. His
Right.
mum can be there. And she was like, well, you can't just invite the mum and not invite him. I'm like, we went back and forth and I just cried and I was just like, are you, like, you're really saying that he has to be there? And she's like, well, it's not about you, it's about the baby. And I'm like, I'm the pregnant one. He's not around. I've done pregnancy on my own. Like, at the time I just felt really crappy. Like, why are we putting someone on a pedestal that's not around?
And did you feel like she wasn't taking your emotions into consideration?
I think in the end, I think when I cried, she did.
Right.
I think at that moment she realised that, okay, this is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how much of a deal this was. And she was like, then I think in that case, they cannot be invited. You can't invite one and not the other. And I said, okay, fine.
Okay. And so the mum wasn't invited.
Well, she was invited. That was the argument between the two.
Right. And then she's kind of like, she's uninvited.
My friend at the time revoked her invite.
Yeah. I've had a invite revoked before. It doesn't feel too good. So I can imagine.
It wasn't, this is like during their argument. And it was at the end of the stern message, your invite has been revoked. And I was just like,
okay, so now it looks like we've had something. You're just not coming anymore. Oh, God. It's a whole mess.
His mum was like, I don't feel comfortable coming anyway.
Right.
Regardless of the fact that the issue's resolved. And I said, that's fine. To be honest, I didn't have a problem with her being there. It was more him.
I understand. So overall, so much drama, but did you enjoy the baby shower?
Yeah.
And you got what you needed for the baby to come?
A lot more than I anticipated. A car full of stuff. And even then, there was no space for me to go home in the car.
Oh, wow.
Like, my friends, my families, and my work colleagues really came.
And it really shows how much you're loved and people like, you know, we're here for you. That must have made you feel really good. Yeah. Because I know some women just might feel very alone in that time, especially if they don't have the father.
Guests on the day.
Really?
So, yeah, it was a lot.
Wow.
It was lovely to see everyone. And like the fact that my immediate work team was there.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So let's go on to not your pregnancy, your birth now. So you're 7 months pregnant at the baby shower. Did you go full term with baby?
1 week, almost 1 week over.
Oh, by then I'll be like, oh, come on. Can we?
I couldn't walk.
Can we? Girl, what you doing in there?
I couldn't walk. Like my ankles, my toes, like, oof.
So you went to almost 41 weeks then?
Yeah.
Wow, I'll be done. I'm sorry, because by about 8 months, I was like, can we just stop this process now. Let's move.
The last 5 weeks, my bump, I could have sworn my bump grew twice in size.
It does.
And
Even in the last 12, for me, it was the last 12 days. That's when I got the stretch marks because it was just growing at such a fast rate. So I totally understand. So you went to almost 41 weeks. What was your birth like? And was the father at the birth?
Hospital was still under COVID.
Right, you had COVID baby.
When I told him I wanted to keep the baby, I said I would like him at the birth.
Okay.
Because of our communication breakdown, I said to him that I can't have you there. I said to his mum that I don't trust him to advocate for my health. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh, but you know he will never let anything happen to you and the baby. I'm like,
do I?
You can say and give all the reassurance you want. If I say I don't trust someone to advocate for my health, I don't trust you. There's no persuade. No.
So then you revoked that invite?
No. I gave him an opportunity.
Okay.
I just said, we need to communicate a bit more. We haven't really touched in.
Okay, that's fair.
And it didn't go to plan, that text thread. And I just said, we're not getting anywhere. You can't be at the birth. It's one rule anyway. If there are visitors allowed, you'll be able to come to the hospital to see her. And I'll find out closer to the time for you. But in regards to the birth, no.
How did that go down?
He wasn't happy about it. He accepted it.
Okay. So it wasn't like trying to push to be like, change your mind.
At this point, you don't really have a leg to stand on. It's different if he was hands-on during the whole time. Then I would trust you.
Yeah.
But I don't trust you. So we are where we are. And some people in the comments, when this video is released, may be like, oh, it's a power and control thing. But that's our most vulnerable state in pregnancy.
Oh, I know. Like when you're laying down on the bed about to, have a baby, you don't know what's going to happen. Especially you've never even been in that situation before. And to have someone there who's not talking to you or hasn't been around you, I agree with you. I agree with your choice. Obviously, yeah, it's nice to have the father and your mother maybe. But in that moment, in that situation, I can totally understand why you did what you did.
His mum asked if she could be present. And I said, it's the COVID rule.
Right.
One person. And that's my mum.
Yeah. That's the person you trusted at that time. Like, you trust your mum. Okay. So they weren't happy.
They accepted it. Weren't happy, but accepted.
Okay.
I think sometimes you have to really think this isn't the most important part. Like, the finished product is the baby coming into the world.
Yeah.
Simply.
Yeah. Okay. So you go into labor, like, did you go into labor? Because I didn't. So let me know, how did that feel? Because now it's like the baby's coming.
Shout out to my friend Nay. I blame you, and I've been saying this. So Nay came to see me like middle of January and spoke to the baby and was like, "Don't come until I come back. I come back like the first week of Feb.
Okay,
the 1st of Feb. Don't come until I come back. I'm not gonna be happy." And I was like, "How can you tell the baby that? Like, who does that?" She lands in Gatwick at 6 o'clock in the morning. She calls me. I've answered. I'm like, yeah. Anything happened? I'm like, no. We're in a conversation. I just start bleeding out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
I was like, something's happening. Something's happening. Like, what do I... I'm like, something's happening. I said, I need to call the hospital because I don't know what this means. So I've gone to the hospital now, and matron wasn't nice. She was like, "You don't need to be here. You're just bleeding." And I'm like, "But
what does that mean?"
I called and they said to come in, so I don't understand. Or haven't you felt the baby move? I said, well, now that you said it, I haven't felt her move in about 6 hours. Not unusual, I guess. She was like, okay, we'll do some tests. And then she was like, you can't leave. I said, what do you mean I can't leave? She goes, oh, it's probably best that you have a birth intervention. So they induce you.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to be induced if you don't want to. I think women forget that.
Right, okay.
Shout out to my hypnobirthing teacher as well. I did hypnobirthing.
Okay.
I think around November. And she was really being forceful, even gave me a leaflet to read. And I was like, I don't have to take it.
Okay, so she wanted to induce you. You didn't want to.
Yeah, like,
okay.
Right, I've just come to hospital. She goes, well, you can't leave. I said, no. What? So she goes, a doctor needs to see you. And she held on to my hospital book so I couldn't leave.
Right, okay.
Funny enough, my community midwife called me.
Right.
And I just started shouting on the phone. I was like, tell the staff to get me out of here. They were like, why is she trying to induce you? I'm like, I don't know, but tell her to get me out.
And why did you not want to be induced? Because I don't really, like, what's the fear or
it's not about a fear. Obviously, like, if you're giving birth, your body knows what to do.
Okay.
And if you're at the very early stages of labour,
right,
why do you need to be induced if there's no medical risk? There's none whatsoever. Like, there's zero.
And she wasn't telling you anything. She was just like, we need to induce you.
Yeah, like she's really forcing it because in their eyes, they've got stats. They want the baby to come out as quick as possible. No, it doesn't work that way. The baby's not ready to come out. It's making the preparation to come out. The baby's not ready to come out. And I'm not a medical risk, so you don't have to accept being induced.
Okay. Everybody get that?
Again, if you want more information on that, go on Google and look at hypnobirthing, and the hypnobirthing instructors will give you all of that.
That's actually quite interesting. And I think that will definitely help somebody else. So thank you for sharing. So you're saying, I don't want to be induced. What happens next?
My community midwife calls the hospital directly. The doctor comes to see me within 10 minutes. At this point, I've been at the hospital 4 hours. I haven't eaten. I'm feeling very lightheaded. The doctor's checked me over and she's like, I'm 1 centimetre dilated. Do I want to have the sweep? It's like, no. Like, why are you touching me? Like, I'm going home. So that's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 8 o'clock that night, that's when I started feeling the contractions. And I was like, oh, okay. Something's happening.
So was you by yourself?
I was
in hospital. Oh, so you went back
to the hospital. I was by myself.
So you went to the hospital by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't think the baby's coming. I'm not taking the whole bag or anything. Like, what?
Oh wow.
The next day, the next morning, I didn't sleep that night. I was in so much pain. The contractions are coming every 5 minutes. I couldn't walk. Mum and my sister take me to the hospital, but this time we have all of my stuff. I get there. The midwife's like, your contractions are really strong. And when they're really strong like this, you normally tend to be 8-9 centimetres. I was only 2. And I was like, 2? Like, what do you mean? So at that point, I took the sweep. Now, the midwife was like, if you come back again, we have to keep you. But if your birth isn't progressing within the 4 hours, how it should, then you have to have a form of induction. My advice is to stay at home for as long as possible.
Okay.
I was like, okay. So I've gone back. Mum and my sister were like, okay, cool. I think it got to 11 o'clock that night. The pain was licking me hard. I couldn't even lay down on the bed. When I laid down, I couldn't get up. My sister had to help me up. Then she had to rub my back. And she goes, you know what? We're going back to the hospital because you're not waking me up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning to drive you to the hospital.
So your sister came with you to the hospital?
My mum as well.
Okay.
She was just driving us. My mum was the one that was staying.
Okay.
So this part's funny because my sister's got a 3-door car. I'm at the front, but my mum's at the back. But my mum takes a bit of time to get out the car. So she just dropped me at the hospital reception entrance. And she's like, I'm going to park the car and get all the stuff out. But, like, just wait here. I couldn't stand up.
Oh.
A black woman come up to me and was like, are you giving birth? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I'm going to run and get the nurse. But I'm not going to touch you because I'm sick. Okay. Well, like, there was a whole heap of panic. Then this Jamaican security guard comes and he goes, baby. Yeah. He goes, here's your wheelchair. I said, so what? You're not going to wheel me up? He goes...
He left you in the wheelchair?
He goes, charge. I said, we're not in Montego Bay Airport.
I am
please.
done.
You're wheeling me up there. He's in tears. He's like laughing his head off because he's just like, I wasn't really trying to do it. I was like, like,
I'm having a baby.
He did in the end.
Wow.
My mum and my sister caught up. We're all laughing. So he gets me to the maternity suite and the midwife at reception was like, so why are you here? I said, I need the drugs. He starts laughing. My mum starts laughing. The people in reception start laughing. I
I
said,
love it.
I don't know what you got.
But give it all.
I need the drugs. All of it.
So you took it all?
Pethidine injection twice. The first time I was on cloud 9. The second time it didn't do nothing. And then in the end I had the epidural.
Okay. Did you have a natural birth?
Natural assisted birth.
Okay.
The next morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, I was only 5 centimeters dilated.
Right.
By 11 o'clock in the morning, me and the baby have gone into distress.
Okay.
So my blood pressure's gone increasingly high. Hers has dropped. At that point, I don't remember it. It's a blur. But from what my mum had said, it was a touch and go moment. We were on the way out.
On the way out, meaning?
We could have died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Literally, and that is where you're saying, like, I need someone I can really trust.
Yeah.
Wow.
If the midwife didn't press the button when she did, it would have been a different story.
Wow.
Doctors came in, they were like saying that I need to have an emergency C-section. I just looked at the midwife like, what's going on? Like, I really wasn't here.
Yeah.
And then the midwife goes, she don't want one. So the doctor was like, want? Like, what do you mean she don't want? Anyway, you've got 6 hours. This baby has to come out in 6 hours. Otherwise, you're having an emergency C-section. Like, there's no ifs or no buts.
Okay.
She came out minutes before the 6 hours were due.
I like this baby.
Yeah. No, we needed an assisted birth because the cord was wrapped around her neck. So she couldn't come all the way out. She was stuck.
Wow.
They used a suction cup to help pull her out.
Okay.
And to take the cord around her neck. So when she was born, she didn't cry. And she was blue. So, yeah.
Quite a scary time.
Yeah.
There was so much going on. So I'm glad that you had your mum. Did that make you feel comfortable and safe?
I can't remember how many babies my mum has seen, but she's seen a lot.
Okay.
And I mean, like, traumatic births at best. So I'm like, you're the font of all knowledge.
You did the right thing.
Of course I'm having you here. Like,
right. So you had your baby. You've got... Sorry, she's 5 months now. Life as a mum, what would you say is the snapshot? Life as a mum now. Are you back at work yet?
Nope, not yet. I haven't decided when I'm going back.
Okay.
But I said I was going back early, but I haven't decided how early. So my maternity ends in January. So I haven't decided how early I'm going back. Okay. If I'm going back early.
And I'm going to assume that you're not with the father. Nothing has been able to, no reconciliation as yet.
It's taken a turn for the worse.
Okay.
We were making baby steps.
Okay.
And it just broke down completely. He feels that I'm being unreasonable. I feel that you're being demanding. And
is this about how often he sees her?
It's about everything.
Okay.
The fact that I didn't put him on a birth certificate, to the visitation. I didn't put him on the birth certificate. He made a comment he sent me a text when I was pregnant, and it really didn't sit right with me.
Okay.
And he'd moved out of his mum's house at the time, and he said, well, you cannot know where I live, and if you have concerns, you can send social services round to do a check. Sorry? Are you all right? Like, I read the text, and I said, he damn lost his mind.
Wow.
I said, oh, so you want to try to do that so you could try and kidnap my kid? You're mad.
Okay,
You're
so
mad.
those fears about what's he going to do, is it more resentment, revenge coming up for you?
My thing is, you're acting like I'm going to come to your house and barge my way in and say, oh, this ain't right and that ain't right. No. As the primary carer, I need to know where my child's going at all times.
Agreed.
God forbid, touch the wood, all of them things there. Should a safeguarding happen, it's my house they come to first. Do you get what I'm saying? So the first red flag would be, I say to a social worker, oh, I don't know where her dad lives, but she goes there. What? What do you mean you don't know?
Okay. And so that made you not put him on a birth certificate, just not feeling safe Or just trust in him?
No trust in him. You wasn't around during the pregnancy. It wasn't a decision that I made lightly.
Okay.
I believe that every child should have their dad's name.
Yeah.
I believe that a person should be recorded on their dad's, the dad should be recorded on a person's birth certificate.
Yeah.
But my thing is, you've not been around. You send this text when I'm pregnant. Yeah, something don't sit right. What's your hidden plan here? Because it don't sit right with me. His mum sent me some stern messages the week, 4 days before I gave birth about it. And I just said, like, I'm not being funny. Like, I don't even know why you're sending me these messages. Like, I hear it, but, like, the baby's not even here. And, like, you're stressing me out. Like, I'm not even sure why you're sending me the messages. Like, it is what it is at this point.
Okay. So moving forward, do you think that you're going to leave the door open for the reconciliation? Because I know that at some point you can even put the name on the birth certificate later on down the line.
I've just been hit with a court order.
There you go.
So
Right. Okay. And so are you open? Are you leaving the door open for things to
in the court
work
order that
out?
I've sent back, I've not detested it.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to be on the birth certificate, that's one issue. There's 3. Visitation is number 2. And number 3 is consistency.
Okay.
And number 2 and 3 are not there. They're not even established. So you're more worried about a birth certificate.
But not showing up as a father.
You're not worried about 2 and 3. That's a red flag. I'm sorry. It just don't, like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if this is how you want to do it, whatever, innit? But I think for me as a mum, when she's like 10 or 15 years away from this time and she sits and asks me difficult questions, I need to be sure as to why I did what I did. I don't regret doing what I did. But I have to show that over that time, I've allowed opportunity
Right, yeah.
for him to be present, for him to do what he has to do as a dad.
Okay.
Do you get
So
what
you're
I mean?
leaving the door open. Now there's a court order. So you're on a new journey now.
Yeah.
But I feel like you've got it. You got it under
In
control.
my mind, I'm like, okay, you're taking me to court. Cool. But, and then what? You're really saying that you don't want to talk to me so bad that you're willing to take me to court? Okay, the issue lies with you. I hear it.
Well, let's hope that things shift as you move forward. Wow, you've been on a powerful journey, and thank you for just being so open and honest and sharing that with us. And do you know what? You're actually quite funny. Like the way you share your story, you must have done some. Would you say you've done healing around this?
I have to.
Yeah.
I can't pass anything on to my daughter. So I
Yeah.
have to. It ends with me.
I love that. And I hope other people can take that. Healing is everything. So what's your biggest lesson on this journey to motherhood and now having a 5-month-old baby? What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned in that time?
Expect the unexpected. Them poop explosions are real. That's it. That's it. But also, you have the opportunity to pass on knowledge and life experience onto a new person. So I take great responsibility in that.
Oh. And where can they find you?
On Instagram, Talks with Jade. Might have some things coming up, might not.
Yeah, I wanna see so much more coming from you because you're so bubbly, vibrant, relatable. I love it. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? And we'll be back in September with brand new, beautiful baby mothers sharing their stories. Thank you for watching.